how does AI make room for dysfunctional parts of a church or a circuit? How does it, when you notice teams or groups or people behaving in a dysfunctional way, how do you respond to them in an AI?
Okay, well, I just have actually had to do that very thing actually with a group. There was one very strong character who wanted everything to go how he wanted it, and other people's ideas were not being listened to, and it was a difficult group. But the important thing, I think, is if you're working with a dysfunctional group, is allowing, say if it's difficult characters, for example, is allowing them to have their say, but being able to deflect what they're saying by reframing what they say, and encouraging them to think differently. It sounds like it's not something that would work too well. On the whole, it does. When you start to encourage people to couch their comments in a different kind of way, it's almost like nudge theory, or a little bit, I suppose you could say that you were being a bit manipulative in a way, because you're asking or you're getting people to change the way that they couch their answers without letting them realise or see what you're doing. So they still get the opportunity to say what they want to say, but then you're reframing the things that they say. And what I find is if you're using conversations between people, it's less confrontational and more personal. So you can start with that even. People are less likely to get sniffy when there's just two people talking. And it takes out the politics a little bit if there's a lot of politics. It doesn't work every single time. It's not a panacea. I have had one group where half of them walked out halfway through. So it's not a panacea for everything, but it is a helpful way of trying to deal with the politics that we often find in churches and circuits. Does that answer your question? Any?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it back again.
Yeah. I mean, when you're talking about dysfunctional circuits, how do you mean by, what do you mean exactly? And maybe I can be a bit more specific.
It was the case that I just was thinking about the reframing of questions.
Yeah.
Always as positive.
Yeah.
When no, maybe you have got it.
Yeah.
Because it's the invitation of that individual to communicate what it is that they want to communicate, but to not do it in a way that scuppers progress. Because actually they may find a solution in the midst of a reframed question rather than staying stuck. Absolutely.
And often when you find yourself working in a confrontational situation, and often if you're talking about churches closing, particularly, that it can get really confrontational, or a struggling church for whatever reason, it can be very confrontational. And it's making sure that every voice is heard. And often the dysfunction comes from people not feeling that they are not being listened to, which is why I wanted people to feel what it was like to be listened to and understand the importance of feeling they are being listened to. So when you've got louder, stringent voices, well, this church was brilliant 20 years ago, and now nobody does anything about how bad it is now. And they need to be able to say that, but then you need to be able to encourage them to put that in a better way that deflates their anger and helps to prevent anyone else getting their hackles up about someone being confrontational. And it's the reframing that helps with that. And over a period of time, which could only be over a period of questions, or it might be over a whole session, that you find that the prickly, aggressive people do start to calm down and do start to think a little bit more positively, because they can see that they're being listened to, and that what they are saying feels valued, but it's just been put in a different way. So reframing is a big part of that. Yes.